So in this video, I want to talk again a little bit more about chord extensions. So these are, you can think of these as notes that are always available to you, chord tones that are always available to you on a chord, regardless of the context of that chord. This allows you to emphasize certain notes which you might not necessarily emphasize if you're just thinking about a single scale that fits over, an entire group of chords. So it can allow you to make your playing a little bit more colorful, especially on more simple chord progressions. So we talked about major 7 and minor 7 in the last video. In this video, I'm going to talk about dominant 7 chords, and I'm going to talk about minor 7 flat 5 chords. So what are the chord extensions that are available to you over let's start with minor 7 flat 5. What are the chord extensions that are available to you on that chord? Well, you have the 9. Now this is a raised or a natural 9, not a flat 9. The reason why I'm trying to draw attention to that is because, a lot of times you might be thinking Locrian over a minor 7 flat 5 chord, but really that natural 2 is going to actually sound really nice over this chord. And you might not play it if you're just thinking Locrian. So that you have the natural 2, not the lowered 2. You have the, what I was just doing there, that's the 11. You have the natural 2, you have the 11. You could do this, the flat 13. So, again, we have the natural 9, the 11, and the flat 13 are all options for you. Now let's look at a dominant 7 chord. So I'm doing a 9 there. So let's say we got a C dominant 7 chord. What chord extensions are available to you? Well, you have the flat 9, you have the natural 9, you have the sharp 11, you have a flat 13, and you have a natural 13. You have all of those. So one way to simplify this is to kind of think about like altered scales versus Lydian dominant scales. Like if you play a Lydian dominant scale over a dominant 7 chord, you're playing the natural 9, the sharp 11, and the 13. If you play an altered scale over a dominant 7 chord, then you're playing a flat 9 and a sharp 9. I forgot to mention sharp 9. Yeah, you have that too. Flat 9, the sharp 9, flat 13, and the sharp 11 as well. So, so there's, you could kind of, most, dominant 7 chords, you can kind of play one or the other. But all those and, different combinations of those are all totally fair game. So a lot of options on dominant 7 chords. So those dominant 7 chords can be a great opportunity. If you have a simple chord progression, if you want to do some different things that the listener wasn't expecting, there's so many options. There's a lot of different things you can take from those dominant 7 extension notes. And do a lot of different interesting things. So we've talked about major 7 chords, we've talked about minor 7 chords, minor 7 flat 5 chords, and we've talked about dominant 7 chords. I want to now just do some demonstration. I'm going to try to put all of this in context. So let's take a chord progression and see how we can make it a little bit more interesting by adding some chord tones that aren't necessarily going to be played if you're just thinking about what scales you're using for this song. So I was thinking about maybe doing Girl from Ipanema. So on the 1 chord, let's go. I'm going to go through the whole thing slowly. Just talk about kind of how I would think about applying chord extensions to make this even more colorful. It's already a nice chord progression, but we can even make it more colorful if we want to in all sorts of different ways. So over that 1 chord, you can play a sharp 11 note, and that's not something the listener might have been necessarily expecting, because that's not in the F major scale. So over the we have that 2 dominant 7 chord. You can put a sharp 9 on that. Sorry, sharp 11 on that. Sharp 11, natural 9, natural 13, but that sharp 11 is going to sound really interesting. And then over the 5 chord, I'm going to do like altered, so like flat 9, flat 13. And then let's go through it again since it does repeat. So sharp 11. Sharp 11 on that dominant 7 chord. And then I'm going to do like altered scale, so flat 9, flat 13. Resolving back to the 1 chord. Now let's go to the bridge. So we go up a half step. So you have that sharp 11 that you can play. Make that a little bit more colorful. And then also you can play a sharp 11 on this B7 chord. And so now we go to minor. To make it more colorful, you can play the natural 13 on that minor. Then we go to a 7 chord. Again, I'm going to play that sharp 11 note. And now we go up to G minor. So again, I'm going to play that natural 13 over the minor. And now we go to another dominant 7 chord, E flat dominant 7 chord. So I'm going to think about playing that sharp 11 on that dominant 7 chord as well. And then we have we have a turnaround. So again, you have all these extensions available on each of those chords in the turnaround too, if you want. And then we're back to the A section. So one more time to review the A section. I'm gonna think about playing that sharp 11 over the 1 chord. I'm gonna think about playing a sharp 11 on the 2 dominant 7 chord. And then, flat 9, flat 13 over the 5 chord. So, I like to think in terms of scales. I think scales really help you to understand where these chords are coming from and how they tie together, and how you can play flowing lines that effortlessly go over all these interesting different chords and tie your phrases together in a way that's seamless. But sometimes you want to add a little spice, a little bit of color, and this way of thinking is just something that you can add to your arsenal to allow you to do that, to make it more colorful and to make simple chord progressions more interesting.